Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for the week of August 1st. We're just going to jump right in here, Taurus. Sorry, I'm new. And we're going to see what is going on for you at this time. I don't read reversals. Some of the cards, I don't know, I put them back wrong or something, but it's my fault. Let's see what is going on for you at this time, Taurus. And it could be an interesting week for you. I said to Virgo that we have Mars, Uranus, the North Node. They're all going to be at 18 degrees on the 1st. It's like most of them are at like 18.3 degrees or something like that, if you want to be super specific. But that'll only last basically for a short period of time, but where they're all at 18 degrees like that. But 18 degrees is the degree of the devil. And that doesn't mean that something, bad is going to happen in your life or anything like that. It's Uranus. Could go both ways. It's Mars, could be very fiery and explosive energy on that day, especially on the 1st, especially on Monday. But it could happen on Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, before the week. Could happen a couple days after, take it how it resonates. But, I feel for the most part, a lot of these things, a lot of things that could happen are going to be good for us in the long run, just as people. But what I would say is, the reason I'm talking about this is, in your reading, it's very interesting that, if I can get this right, that you start here with the 6 of Wands and then the 10 of Pentacles as your crossing energy. The 6 of Wands is a card of success and being successful. It's almost as if this reading is saying you have the energy to be successful at this time. You have the resources, whatever you want to call it. But that 10 of Pentacles is like not feeling like you have the resources. You end with the Empress, which is you, and that puts you in a very strong position. And not only that, it's an amazing card. It's a card of abundance and success and good things, right? And being able to create abundance from nothing. But again, what I think is interesting is that I think this is exactly what the astrology is talking about, especially those 2 planets and the North Node, all kind of conjuncting this week, basically, really, mostly all being on top of each other. And what I would say is that I feel like for most of us, it's kind of like there could be some sort of moment where things don't go as planned. And, again, as I said to Virgo, I'm going to say it to every single Earth sign, because your Earth signs, all the energies in Earth, you in your own sign. So I feel like it's super important for you Earth signs to pay the most attention to this. What I would say is, the more flexible you can be, 2 of Swords, in the area of your future feelings, not wanting to be flexible. Trust me, I get it. I'm a stubborn ass Pisces. I have a ton of Capricorn in my chart, right? I don't want to be flexible. I make up my mind on something, and if it doesn't work that way, I get super pissed off, right? So it's something I definitely need to work on. And I'm not afraid to expose myself here either. So what I would say with that 2 of Swords is, just needing to realize that there are many, many ways for you to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And just because something doesn't work, whether it's in love, business, or otherwise, doesn't mean it's not going to work. But again, with your crossing energy of the 10 of Pentacles, I like to offer solutions in my readings as well. Again, tarot is not a prison sentence. Tarot does not control your life, right? I try to demystify tarot a little bit as well here. And what I would say with the 10 of Pentacles is that I'm not going to get this right. I'm sorry here, Taurus, but why? I don't know why this is so hard for me today, but anyway, it's probably because I'm out of practice. But the 10 of Pentacles can represent hidden or secret information. It can represent kind of something that you don't see. So I always like to remind people with the 10 of Pentacles, especially in a crossing position, is maybe you're a little bit stuck. It's like you have the vision to be successful. 6 of Wands is like success. You end as the Empress. Success, abundance. It's like clearly it's here. The energy's here, but I would do some research. 10 of Pentacles, again, is a card of, most people look at it as a card of building and leaving a legacy, which it totally is. But there's another meaning for it, which is hidden or secret information. And it's not really hidden. It's not really secret. Even right next to it, right next to it, you have the King of Swords. The King of Swords has been coming up a lot. And the King of Swords to me is an energy of, finding an expert. I've been saying this came up a lot last week, and it's coming up for you. King of Swords can represent a person who just knows more than you. It's like, if you have a medical problem, go to a doctor. If you have a legal problem, go to a lawyer, right? Find an expert is what the King of Swords says. And gender doesn't matter either, just because it's a king. People always ask. No, doesn't matter what it is, but it just represents a person who's like a mentor, someone who you can look up to, someone who knows more. And it represents someone who will solve your problems very quickly, and usually experts like doctors, lawyers, dentists, things like that, usually they can solve our problems very quickly. So again, if you're having an issue or anything like that, could represent a mentor. But again, this problem could be somewhere else, could be in business. And it's like maybe there's someone you can learn from online. Maybe there's someone you can learn from on YouTube or something like that. In the area of your thoughts, Nine of Swords, thinking the worst, I would definitely stay out of your head this week, Taurus, especially that fixed energy. Again, trust me, I get it, I'm an Aquarius rising, right? Super fixed. So, that's what I'll say there. But I totally understand. And I feel this Nine of Swords is kind of like saying, get out of your head. It's also kind of a card that says we have a choice. We can be the bug or the windshield. I always say this with this card, that you can see right here, there's like a person with a sword standing over the other person who's kind of on their back. And this card always says to me that you can be the bug or the windshield. You can be the immovable force, or you can be the thing that kind of gets hit with the hard surface, right? I wouldn't be too, the exception is I would try to be, much more flexible this week. I think maybe if you're into like hockey or something like that, it's like you ever see, even if you're not into it, I don't know, I'm not into sports period, but it's like when the puck comes to the hockey stick, they kind of bring the stick back. They kind of cradle the puck before they bring it forward again. And, I think that's a good analogy for the energy this week. It's like if you can bring something back and just kind of be flexible with it, if it's not working, and say like, you have the time, you're bringing it back, you have some time. It's not like you have to make a decision on something today, right? Whatever this is, and I know I'm speaking generally here, but I feel like you have time before you make the goal here. Maybe that's a good analogy, like I said. In the area of your foundation, you have the Three of Swords. I would definitely watch your health at this time. Mars in your own sign, Mars going retrograde this year. Again, I know Mars isn't going retrograde till the end of the year, but I like to follow all of Mars's rules in Mars retrograde years, period, plain and simple. Again, I always make the point about Will Smith. I mean, it's like, that's a classic example of Mars retrograde. Yes, it happened more closer to the beginning of the year. Mars retrograde's at the end of the year. But again, I follow Mars retrograde rules the entire year, so that's basically every 2 years. No public outbursts, none of that, right? But also, I would just take care of your health. And again, Three of Swords doesn't say anything is going to happen. It just says don't let something happen, right? And I'm not a doctor, so do not take this as medical advice. In your past position, you have the Knight of Cups. This is the energy that you are moving past. The interesting thing is that I'm getting the word like maturing popping into my head here for you. And again, actually, I did want that camera, mostly because of this King of Swords over here. You go from the Knight of Cups to the King of Swords. And I like the Knight of Cups, but, if I was being super critical, especially coming up in a past position, he can represent a knight in shining armor, but I don't really see this as a love reading. I would say he can represent an idea. He kind of represents our imagination, something that we could be imagining as possible, like starting a business. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you want to be in a relationship, whatever the case may be. Doesn't matter. But in the past position like this, it's like maybe it's not very solid. It doesn't have much structure, because there's nothing growing on this card. He's standing in a desert. There is water flowing in front of him. I always like to remind people that he's in the desert and there's water. So he could easily plant some seeds. He could easily get going and get growing as well if he put the work in. Empress at the end, growth, literally. Next, in the area of your near future, King of Swords. Again, I would say if you're dealing with anything in general, that I would consult an expert. I would try to stay open. It's kind of funny because someone sent me this thing just a couple of days ago, actually, and it was like a bunch of brain exercises or something like that. And I'm pretty sure one of the exercises was, kind of like think about something that you want to do and then write down 10 ways that it could work, right? I love those things. You've probably all heard me talk about stuff like this in the past, but this was a different way to do it because, part of the exercise was setting a timer for 10 minutes and you have to do it in 10 minutes, right? You have no choice but to write down 10 ideas. And trust me, it gets hard once you get to those last 3, 4 kind of ideas. You're like, oh my God, I only have a few more minutes and I have to finish this in 10 minutes. That's where the real good ideas come out. But the whole point of the exercise is, as with most of these 10 ideas kind of exercises, is that they shouldn't be good ideas. And that's the whole point. You're just getting things out on paper, right? And I kind of feel that here with the King of Swords, for whatever reason, that maybe that would be a good exercise for you to do. Again, I think it's important because we have so much fixed energy that if you have an idea to start a business or YouTube channel, keep your main idea at the front of your brain, but I would write down 10 other ideas, like what you could do, right? Same thing in love or anything else in your life. I'd be like, or even a diet. Maybe you're going on a diet. I would write down like 10 other ideas for the diet that could potentially work just in case, right? Just to stay flexible. When we work with the energy of the astrology, we get rewarded. As I always say, tarot and astrology are not a prison sentence, so that's why I like to talk about like how you can work with the energy. I also feel that the King of Swords, I said to someone else this week that the King of Swords is like turning knowledge into wisdom. It's like knowledge is knowing something, learning something. Anyone can learn something, but wisdom is like putting it into action. And it kind of reminds me of that Ten of Pentacles. It's like sometimes there are just certain things that you just cannot learn from a book. You have to learn from experience. It's like, it reminds me, I watch a lot of cooking shows at night, right? I really don't watch much TV, but at night, I watch cooking shows, and I've been watching Beat Bobby Flay, right? And it's like, he beats pretty much everyone. And it's like, why do you think that is? It's because he has a lot more of that, like, wisdom. He's been doing it, cooking for a very long time, and he's even said in several episodes that they're just, like, certain little tricks. He doesn't say it like I'm saying it, but he just, like, talks about a certain little trick he's using. And it's like he knows certain little things that just require experience. And the King of Swords really says we have to gain the experience. We have to, start something to get truly good at it, right? To truly master something. Over the next few months, you have the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles says do not call attention to your weaknesses. It can be a card of feeling like a lack energy, feeling like you're left out in the cold and things like that. We will clarify that, of course, in just a minute, and we'll see what's going on there. But, I wouldn't really worry about abundance. You end with the Empress, like I said. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Judgment card. Excuse me. Wouldn't really surprise me if you had a bunch of people returning to your life at this time. I'm not talking about lovers. I'm talking about just people in general. I feel a lot of you could just be hearing from, friends, family members, and things like that at this time. And I don't know, it just feels like, fine. I think you'll be happy to hear from most of these people. So, again, I would just go for it here, Taurus. I feel it'll be beneficial for you. Have I been saying I feel like I've been saying Virgo this whole time. I hope not. Anyway, next in the area of your future feelings, you have the Two of Swords. Again, needing to see that there's another way of doing things, this island behind you here. I feel like the more flexible you can be, the better. Like I said, this whole entire reading. She is stuck. She is like this is a card of it being at a stalemate, being stuck, not being sure what to do. But the answer is right here. Moving towards this new island. It could represent needing to do something that you don't believe you're capable of. Could represent like needing to face some fears. There's like a lot of different ways to look at it. But I feel like there's something, and I have a feeling that when we clarify, we'll get a little bit more detail on that as well. And finally, here you go. Your outcome, Empress. Through all this, you show up in your like true form, in the most abundant, powerful position that you possibly can. So I definitely like that, and I kind of like where this is going, even though it might seem a little challenging. So let's see what's going on for you. You have the Queen of Cups popping out here. King and Queen of Cups have been showing up like crazy. As I've said in the past readings, you probably heard me say it, I'd be very careful of your emotions at this time and allowing them to control you. With the Six of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles holding on too tightly to something. So again, I feel that in a lot of ways, this is saying that you need to really, I feel like it's saying you need to listen more to your heart. And I also feel it's like kind of just about letting go of old ideas, right? And it doesn't mean that, if you're trying to start a business, that you have to start a totally new business. It just means do it in a different way, or look for other ways to do things. The success is here again. Six Wands, excellence, success, and good things coming in for you. I feel like, but that Four of Pentacles, some of the other things, the astrology, again, I feel maybe you're feeling a little stuck. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Two of Swords. There you go. Stalemate, thinking you're stuck when you're not. I feel you have a lot of, again, just right in the main reading, I feel like there are a lot of ways that you could get unstuck or get ideas on how to be more flexible, right, in whatever it is that you need to be more flexible in. Again, an expert. King of Swords could just be someone you also just look up to. There could just be a person like your mom, your dad, your best friend, whatever. There could be a person that that just gives you some... Sorry about that, Taurus. I have to have some electrical work done, so that was just the electrician. But anyway, where was I? What I was saying is, again, there could be like a person who could really help you with that King of Swords. The other thing that I would kind of like look into here is I would like mix your head and your heart. Four of Pentacles is my card, like my Greg Braden card, as I say. Of like your head and your heart becoming one. That's how you move mountains. But I would actually look at the two different things. I would say, like, if you're trying to overcome an obstacle, what does your head tell you? What does your heart tell you? And I would just they might be different. And for whatever reason, what I'm picking up here is that you shouldn't necessarily, mix the two things together. It's like maybe your heart has a better answer, maybe your head does, and I wouldn't get too attached to an outcome. I feel like this is saying you never know what might work, right? So I would just look into that. With the Three of Swords, you have the Knight of Pentacles. You also have the Page of Pentacles want to pop out here. So the Knight of Pentacles is about needing to get moving. Page of Pentacles is a card of studiousness. So again, learning obviously would be a good idea for you at this time. Three of Swords, heartbreak. It's like not moving forward with that Knight of Pentacles, being too cautious, playing too small could be the problem. Sometimes I think that, right? It's like I've worked with a lot of business people in my short life, right? And I've noticed that sometimes, I think that, I have no way to prove this other than some successes that I've seen people have, but it's like sometimes I think maybe the universe wants us to go big. It's like maybe we're going too small. Maybe you're saying I want to start a business for $1 million, but maybe it's not working because the universe is like, no, I'm not going to let you be successful until you say 100 million because I want you to be as successful as you possibly can. I meaning the universe, right? So it's like sometimes I think we play too small and the universe is like, I can't help you be small when you're meant to be big, right? So I kind of feel like that here for some of you, right? Doesn't mean if you set the goal to make 100 million that you're going to, not necessarily, but maybe you'll make 10 instead of 1, right? So, that's what I'd say there. With the King of Swords, you have the Five of Wands. Conflicted, not being sure. The other, I'm a big fan of looking at the other way of doing things. I'm a crazy person, as I always say, but it's I like to look at things that I disagree with, right? Which a lot of people nowadays don't seem to like to do. But it's the reason is, it's because maybe, you don't want to, maybe the other side has a better idea. Maybe someone you disagree with actually has a good idea for you. I always use the example that there are plenty of books, on Amazon and Audible, for example, they have terrible reviews. But I have found extremely useful. There are things in those books, and it's if you read the reviews, people are always like, there's a lot of spelling mistakes, as if that has something to do with the information. So sometimes I like to just, if something stands out to me, what I'm trying to say here is that if something stands out to you, if something captures your attention, if you see a book on Amazon, but it kind of jumps out at you, or maybe there's a YouTube video that has a bunch of dislikes, although the losers at YouTube got rid of that for whatever reason, which drives me crazy. It's maybe there's something in it that you could still learn. So I pay attention. I kind of get pay attention to your intuition. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Wheel of Fortune. I actually feel like your fortunes are changing over the next few months, but I feel like that Five of Pentacles really says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. Some of you might be working on kind of limiting, money blocks, limiting financial beliefs, or just limiting personal beliefs. I feel like that would be a good exercise for you, if you want to do it. So that's what I would do there. With the Judgment card, you have the Lovers. The Lovers is kind of like having a choice. It's also showing up in the area of your closest relationships, so there could be love coming in for you here on the Judgment card if you want it. I also feel that this could be you needing to listen to yourself, though. Judgment card is your higher self is calling out to you. There's also this higher self angel right here. On the Judgment card, he's not really blocked by clouds. On this card, he is. You can see there, he's kind of blocked by clouds. So, maybe you're getting some inner answers, but you're kind of questioning them, is how I see this. And so I would try to open up to your inner voice, your inner answers, whatever you want to call it. With the Two of Swords, you have the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is about walking away from things. I'd be careful of your emotions. Again, I used to get like this, years and years ago, Taurus. It's I used to work on projects. I would bust my ass, working on something. It wouldn't work out, and I'd get, super pissed off. And, emotionally, it would just, I would drag myself down. I was doing it to myself, right? Because I was allowing myself to, emotionally get attached to these things. I'm not saying you shouldn't be emotionally attached to things, but what I am saying is that the Eight of Cups is an emotional whirlpool. It sucks you down. It can prevent you from moving forward. So I'd be careful of putting work into something and then getting emotionally drained. So what I started doing, by the way, is I started allowing myself to be pissed off. It's I'm not one of there are all these spiritual teachers that are you can't be angry, you can't be blah blah blah. It's no, we have these feelings for a reason. So I would allow myself to be pissed off for a day, and then I would move on, right? Plain and simple. So give yourself a pity party, whatever you got to do, go for it. I'm a big fan of doing it, and then move as long as you pull yourself out of it, after. And finally, with the Empress, 3 of Wands. What are you waiting for? This is like expansion. I really feel this reading is very simple. It's saying you're playing too small. And again, I'm not criticizing you here because I feel like this reading is asking you to be big. It's saying you need to expand. You need to be bigger and think bigger and plan bigger and, all those other things. And that's exactly what I would do here, Taurus, is I would dream bigger. Or I would play bigger. It's like you might be playing in a, kiddie pool when the universe wants you to dive into the deep end. That's like what I feel here. So it's like in business, maybe you're focusing on a small group, which is, a successful way to be in business. Don't get me wrong. But there's another side of things. And this whole entire reading is like saying that. I always like to use the example. It's like, I'm sure, it's like, I know tons of people in business, like I said, and, I always think of, there's like a belief in business that you shouldn't have a passion-based business. Then there's another belief that you should, right? And it's like the majority says, don't have a passion-based business. I have a passion-based business, super successful, right? Love it. So, it's like, who's right? And it's like, maybe I'm wrong for you, right? So maybe you shouldn't. But you have to kind of like experiment with both sides here is what this reading is saying. And, that's what I'd say here. There's another belief, if you happen to have a business where you should be kind of super focused, right? But it's like, I know plenty of people that have very broad businesses and very big niches, right? And so it's like, who do you believe? And really the answer here, I'll tell you who you believe. Yourself. That's it. So there you go. Thank you, Taurus. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.